Being in the middle of the Bible Belt, that alone was enough to get her shunned by most of her neighbors. But like I said, I'd forgotten about that summer until the box arrived. It was an old box. It had many strange symbols and images carved on it. I ran my hand over the top, and it was as if there's an energy coming from it. Inside the box was a picture of my granny. From her younger days, of course. And wrapped around a long length of fabric was an old crystal bell that she used to keep. The final treasure was a small leather pouch filled with salt. Vision shot back into my mind. Images that have haunted me so much, so many years ago, that I pushed them out of my mind, back into that far corner where I locked them away so many years ago. In an instant, I was that child again, walking through that old and decrepit house, up the rickety stairs, down the long dark hallway, until the far corner bedroom on the right. The bedroom was empty, except there's a small worn out mattress, worn out chest of drawers. The floor, every time I stepped, would creak and crack. And the dirty window, it looked out over the backyard. Now its view was mostly obscured by an old oak tree, which at night would cast eerie shadows as the moonlight filtered through the branches. I arrived that first night, went to bed. It was probably just after midnight I woke up having to go to the bathroom. As I stepped out of the room, I felt a slight crunch, which I discovered the next morning was from what appeared to be a line of salt that went across the threshold of the door. I didn't think anything of it at the time. I was half asleep. Quickly went and did my business and returned and settled down into bed. That night, strange dreams entered my mind. It was a swirling darkness like I've never felt before. I tossed and I turned, unable to shake the uneasiness. Finally, morning came, roused me from my tumultuous slumber. As the day went on, the next day, I pretty much forgotten about the dream. In fact, over the next several weeks, I slept soundly. Thoughts of that first night faded from my memory. That is, until that one hot summer eve. The heat and humidity was unbearable. It made it impossible to sleep. I lay there in bed in my own sweat, staring up at the ceiling. Shadows from the window crept across the room. It was as if it was trying to claw its way in. Now, my mind told me that it was just the branches outside clattering against the window. Somehow my heart believed otherwise. After tossing and turning, I decided I'm going to go splash some cold water on my face, see if that would help. Strange, I thought, as I again stepped on salt as I walked out of the room, this time kicking it, scattering it across the hallway. I went to the bathroom, splashed the cold water, letting that water drip down my nose. Finally, some relief from the heat. I stumbled back to the bedroom, flopped down on bed, and within a few minutes I had drifted off. A palpable feeling of dread came over me as that darkness once again surrounded me. A flash of red appeared, And suddenly, out of the darkness emerged a pair of hands. The fingers reaching out, gripping, wrapping around my neck. They started to squeeze. I tried to pry them off, but they just gripped even tighter, like a steel vise. Tighter and tighter, making it hard to breathe. I struggled to take a breath. I felt the darkness closing in on me. Suddenly, my granny's voice rang out, words I've never heard before. Some sort of chant, as if commanding the darkness to obey. In that instance, the steely hands, well, they started to dissipate, and I was able to slip free, like as if it was an illusion. A chill went through me as I felt the darkness rush past me. The next morning, I woke up. I walked downstairs into the kitchen. My grandmother looked up, gave a knowing smile. She never said a word to me, and I never said a word back. But from that moment on, I made sure to never disturb the salt that shoe lay outside my bedroom door.
Give it up for John Gilmore. Great job, John. We're probably close to the halfway mark.